Fervent listeners of Yuba Radio. You're tuned to the program Green Globe, your favorite environmental program that treats environmental issues in the most simplified way. In our discussion of today, we'll be talking about the environment, specifically the World Environment Day, which is on the 5th of June. And we'll be turning to our experts in the studio, our resource person. Mr. Gilbert, what do we mean by the environment? What is the environment? Before we talk about the World Environment Day, please could you succinctly define to us what is the environment?
Thank you so much for this question. I really appreciate that question and giving me the opportunity to educate the community about what environment is all about. The environment here is simply space in normal language. Environment is space where you live, you carry out your day-to-day activities, where both animals and humans habitate. That is an environment. In simple statement that everybody can understand, environment is space.
Okay, thank you very much for that. The United Nations has instituted the World Environment Day. Please, I would like to know from you what is the theme for this year 2024 World Environment Day?
Okay, the theme for the World Environment Day is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience, with a very powerful slogan, our land, our future.
Wow, indeed a very powerful slogan. Please, when we talk of land restoration, we would like to know from the other expert at the end. Mr. Killian, please, could you succinctly elucidate to us what?
Simple and to a layman understanding, land restoration is simply rehabilitating land, bringing land back to its original state. We know most of our lands today, they are not in the original state in which they were before.
Okay, they've been degraded.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why we need to restore
Yeah.
our land. And in that light, we will turn over to Madam Annie Cynthia. Madam,
Land is where man lives. This is like a habitat for both man and other plants and animal species. And for man to live and thrive well on this land, we have to exploit this land and use it for our day-to-day activities and also for livelihood. For this to happen, we have to practice agriculture,
okay.
which is the basis for which humans live and they acquire food through agriculture, which is practiced on land.
Okay.
We also have an importance of land transportation. We all know man is the most mobile species on earth, and so we use land for transportation, and we also have forestry. We also have urban infrastructure and recreational facilities, and we have mining, and we have energy generation through dams, and also solar energy. And we have to conserve this land because it is quite important for our survival. Thank you.
Wow, very interesting indeed. Land has so much importance. We have just one earth, and this is only the earth that sustains life as of now. So we ought to have that collective responsibility to ensure we cater for the earth as we go about using the land. We have to ensure that there is this symbiotic use of land, such that it's a win-win partnership. The environment benefits and human equally benefit. So I think you have been elucidating very important uses or activities that are being carried out on land. And these activities unfortunately have a downside to it. It has negative consequences to which we'll be turning to Mr. Derek. So please, we'd like to know what are some of those sustainable practices, activities that humans carry that degrade the land, because it's on that basis which the United Nations talks of land restoration. For something to be restored, it means it has been destroyed. So we'd like to know, sir, what are some of those activities that destroy the land that warrant now that it should be restored?
Okay, thank you very much for this question, Mr. Bertrand. I don't say for land to be restored, it means there is a problem.
For sure,
Yes, because restoration comes as a result of destruction, and for something to be restored, it means the original state has been tampered with. It means the original state has been tampered with, and you bet me that for land to be restored, there are some activities that need to be carried out on land. You need to restore the land, to bring back the land, even though it might not necessarily be in its original state, but at least should make it in a way that at least humans, us humans especially, will get to enjoy. So some of those activities, agriculture, deforestation, that is planting of trees, the afforestation, and reforestation. That's the planting of trees that it
Okay.
will help us.
To get everything right, we're talking about those negative activities that destroy the land. So you name agriculture some of those activities that destroy the land.
Yes,
Okay.
agriculture are some of them because the
How?
use of some Ankara, you know, so Ankara we mostly use in the village.
Slash and burn, the
Yes,
farming
slash and
system.
burn. Those are
Okay.
activities that destroy the soil or the land, and we
Okay.
discover that even deforestation is also another,
Very true.
because once we cut down those trees, the roots are not more available to bind the soil particles together, and we discover that the soil is now vulnerable to erosion, in all its form, in
Okay.
wind or water.
Okay.
Yes, and those are some of the activities that man is actually
Mhm.
putting in place that destroy the land, and as even transport activities,
Mhm.
that they also go a long way to destroy the land
That's true
somehow.
because the construction of every
Yes,
road demands that vegetation should be cleared off,
yes.
and this significantly impacts upon the well-being of the land. And what can you say about poor waste management? Because we see that there's a lot of poor waste management happening around, both especially within the urban metropolis.
Before I talk of this, I will first of all say it was very sad because we're working with ozone-friendly people, whether
Okay.
they and we saw Empire Group. That's a
Mm-hmm.
group that is taken over from Isakam here in the Northwest.
Okay.
Try to clear the waste below Setik at the entrance of Canada.
Yes.
Immediately they were doing that. The next day,
Mm-hmm.
not up to 24 hours,
Mm-hmm.
the that was being cleared.
Mm-hmm.
We came in the morning and we saw waste still deposited in that same area, and
Oh.
and it's very nasty. The
Mm-hmm.
whole of that area is really smelling. So I would say waste disposal is very poor in the Northwest, very very poor, and
Okay.
it's really sad.
It's really
So we
appalling.
really need to put some measures in order to combat this issue of improper or poor waste disposal in the Northwest.
That's true. It's an appalling banality. The state of waste management. It's unfortunate that stakeholders have not been putting in place effective strategies which can ensure the utilization or recycling of some of these waste. Madam, our Cynthia Ning, please, I would like to ask, does urbanization contribute to the negative challenges that the environment is facing?
Yes, urbanization, first of all, is like the building up of cities,
With an environmental. Welcome back, fervent listeners of the University of Bamenda Radio Station. You're still tuned on to the program Green Globe over the University Radio Station. And today we have been talking about the World Environment Day, and we have looked about many aspects. We have looked at the theme, we have looked at the slogan, and we have looked at best environmental practices that can be implemented to ensure that our environment thrives in a sustainable manner while equally sustaining our livelihood. Thus, I'll be turning to our resource persons, seasoned environmental experts, geographers, urban planners, agronomists, who will be giving us their take-home messages such that we'll go and we'll implement. I would like to turn over to Mr. Derek. Sir, please, can we get a take-home message from you?
Okay, my take-home message to the public or to the community is that we should try as much as possible. I know it is not easy because as human beings we must generate waste. As human beings, we should be able to manage our waste in such a way that we should manage them. The degradable ones, we should be able to dispose them of, yes, in a proper manner. And then the biodegradable waste, we should separate them, both the degradable and the biodegradable.
And the non-degradable.
Yeah, the non-degradable, yes. So we should be able to dispose them properly.
Sorry, is first, everything we do on the environment, we should always know that the environment still determines the success of that activity. So we should be very careful with how we use the environment. Human ones are limited, I'll always say. And to meet those ones, we need the environment. But we should always try as much as possible to act according to the norms of the environment and not according to our norms. The environment should not follow us. We are the ones to follow them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear fervent listeners of Yuba Voice. At this juncture, we'll be packing our bags out of the studio. It has been an interesting discussion. We would like to give a big thanks to Mr. Gilbert, Mr. Killian, Madam Anne Cynthia, and to Mr. Derek. We would equally like to give a big shout out to our station boss, who was the one managing the 1001 button today, Mr. Ngong Song Jean Marie. And we equally like to thank the Department of Geography and Planning. We would equally like to thank the university administration for giving us this opportunity and the privilege to educate our peers and to ensure that best environmental practices are being put in place, even as you can see in the university as it is thriving. At this juncture, we would like to say a bye-bye to our fervent listeners and to say please implement best environmental practices. We love you. Shout out to you all. Bye-bye. Over the Bamenda Radio Station. And we'll be diving into the second segment of this program, and we're going to be looking at the way forward. What recommendations can you propose as far as preserving biodiversity?
And if one tree is being absent, what will happen? Secondly, I would advise that the state can introduce programs for environmental management and environmental sustainability. They can even partner with other countries to introduce that program, because some people carry out activities that extinct living organisms not knowing.
That's true.
Ignorantly. Yes, ignorantly. So the state can also take an initiative to bring